Hello everybody, welcome to Star Corner. So today our special guest is Jennifer and she's going to be telling us what is it like being a researcher in our country, North Macedonia. So I'm your host Yllka Ali and let's enjoy this episode.
Hello.
Hello, so Jennifer, tell us a bit about yourself and where you're from.
My name is Jennifer. I'm from Baltimore, Maryland, USA, and I am a current U.S. Fulbright researcher here in North Macedonia. I went to school at University of Maryland, Baltimore County, and studied politics and writing, and decided I wanted to kind of branch out and go somewhere I had not been, a region I had not been, to do research, and that was where I settled, was here, the Balkans.
Great. Did you love your time here until like now you have had it?
I've been here now almost 9 months. I got here in September of 2024 and just tried to fully immerse myself in the culture and the communities around me, and it's been a really wonderful experience. A lot of walking.
Well, we have a lot of walking.
Yes, I did learn to walk everywhere.
Yes, a lot of walking in the Balkans, especially here. We have to do a lot of walking. What is like your favorite place that you have visited here?
Oh wow, there's been a lot because I was raised in an army household, so we moved around a lot. So I've been to a lot of places, a lot of countries around the world, and one thing that you kind of learn to do is you just learn to appreciate a lot of different things for, different reasons. So I loved being here. I like hiking Vodno. I think it's a short hike, but it's strenuous because it seems to be pretty steep. And so it's good, and you can get up there and see the city, and I like doing that. I've been to a lot of neighboring countries like Albania and Kosovo and Greece, and I think and even Ohrid, which I know is beautiful ancient lake, and so everything seems to be just wonderful to visit. My favorite part really though is getting up, and I can look out my window and see the Shar Mountains, and just I can write and just look at mountains all the time.
Oh yeah, that's great though. Did you ever miss like somebody or feel homesick while you were here?
My son is 24 and he has children, and so I do miss my family, but we've been kind of conditioned to be away from family a lot, just growing up living overseas a lot. So I knew it was temporary, and I did take a break and spent a week back home at Christmas time, but I didn't really feel homesick necessarily because it was kind of a nice break to be here. I was used to like a fast-paced legal environment back home, working and just constantly on the go, and here I got to slow down just a little bit and focus just on the research, just on my interviews, and getting to learn the language and the people.
Yeah, what is your favorite thing about your job?
Here?
Yes.
Talking and meeting with people and coffee. Everything happened in a coffee shop. So
yeah.
I love coffee, and it was nice to be able to talk to people in coffee shops all over the region. There's so many of them. And the coffee, I think, is probably better here than in the States.
Oh, that's great. When you applied here, did you know where North Macedonia was?
I did know where North Macedonia was. I have been to Latin America and parts of Western Europe and Asia and all over the US. So when we were looking at possible research topics and places to do research, I really wanted to come to the Balkans. I had been to Belgrade for 10 days a few years ago, and so I thought, let's see what else is out there. And so I was aware of North Macedonia, but I had not ever been here and had to do a deep dive into research about the country and learn about the political system and the demographics and all of the interesting facts about this country.
Oh yes, we have a lot of politics.
Yes.
That's all we can say about it though.
You have a very dynamic political system here, which it's for such a small country, it's impressive. It's also a really, really good place to learn and test models. So I really enjoyed learning how things worked here. And also because it is a small country, you do have access to a lot of resources and people. And that was something else I enjoyed, was being able to meet a lot of people and not really having to worry too much about would they meet with me? Would I be able to interview them?
Oh, yes.
Everyone was great and pretty gracious and willing to meet with me and talk to me.
Yes. What were the biggest cultural differences when you came from America to here?
Wow. I think that there is, I had a hard time paying for coffee. Everyone always wanted to pay for me. So that's a little bit different. We split everything in the States, down to the last penny. But that's one. Also, there's a different like demeanor. You know, people walking on the streets, they're kind of doing their own thing. There's not really a lot of like interactions between strangers walking down the street. You might run into a little more of that in the States. There's so many people. Everybody always wants to talk to somebody else. But yeah, that was kind of a big one. Was just getting used to very stoic demeanor of the people.
Oh yes. What's your favorite food here that you have tasted and want to get back to the U.S.?
Let's see. There's a lot of things that we're not going to be able to get back in the U.S. I think this region, this country does bread better than anywhere almost.
Yes, we do.
So there's a lot of good breads here. Obviously I was introduced to burek and tapcha gacha and a couple of other dishes, and so they are all very good. I'm Korean Puerto Rican, so we eat a lot of rice in my household. So I didn't really run into a lot of rice here, but yeah, the bread's pretty good.
You have had, I don't know, the best dishes you have had here.
Yeah, they were pretty decent, and everyone's been gracious and pointing me in the right direction. I got to learn where I wanted to eat burek if I wanted to eat it. I didn't just get it anywhere. I would find my burek shop and
what is like your favorite in things with the burek? Like, is it with meat, with feta cheese?
I like it with spinach, yeah.
Oh, I like it with like feta cheese a lot though.
Yeah, I like vegetables, and so with feta, the cheeses and stuff, that was fine. I had tried, I think, potato, and that was good too.
Yeah, potatoes.
Actually, nothing was bad. They were all really good. It's just my go-to was always spinach.
Okay, so Jennifer, what is something that you learned about yourself during this exchange that you did this year?
Well, I learned I could slow down. I learned I could be more patient. I didn't think I had that in me. And I learned that I could live in an environment where plans change at the last minute or made at the last minute, and I was able to kind of go with it. I usually live a very structured schedule. I'm always like, okay, this is what I'm doing at this time, and this is what I'm doing at this time, and that changed a lot here because I wanted to be, when I got here, I had determined that I would be in a yes and mood, which is where if somebody said, can you meet me for an interview at this time, at this place, I would be yes, always. So I tried to make myself as amenable as possible because the goal was to meet with as many people, make as many connections as I could, and get the research in and get it done. So that meant just being really flexible, something that I had to learn how to do better. And so I did learn that I could do it. I don't know if I would change my way of life necessarily and just always be kind of fly by the seat of your pants, but I can definitely go with the flow, and that was something I kind of learned here.
Yeah, that's great that you learned. You learn to be available.
Yes.
It's like, hey Jennifer, do you want to film or go out now? You're like, yes, I will. Yes, I'm free all the time.
Yeah.
What were your first impressions of North Macedonia when you came here?
When I got here, it was September, so it was still nice and still decent weather. It was the first thing you see when you come to the region is you're going to see the buildings, and the architecture is going to be very specific, very different from what you're used to. I didn't know the language. I had very limited. I had just learned how to read Cyrillic, so I could read, but I was reading at a very young level, and I didn't really understand a lot of the words yet. So I just kind of had to wing it. But I noticed that people were always willing to talk to me as much as possible once they realized I was American. So there was a lot of welcoming, a lot of conversations, and attempts with Google Translate,
Yes.
trying to have a conversation with me, just even on the street. I've had people stop me on the street many times, asking me where I'm from. So that was it was interesting.
What impact do you think you made coming here? Impact that you think you made?
Well, that was kind of one of the things that I take away from my experience here as well, is that because of the size of the country, because you have, the delta between the top, the highest levels of politics and government and the working class, like it's a very short distance. So you have, greater access to people, which also means that you have greater impact, and you can see the results of anything that you do a lot faster, which is a lot different than in the U.S. We're just a much bigger country, and a number of people that are surrounding you. I walk the streets and I will run into somebody that I've met or talked to or know, and I feel like, especially with interpersonal relationships, that there was a huge impact, that immersing myself in the culture here and making myself available to talk about my American culture or my Korean culture or my Puerto Rican culture was something that I was able to do very easily here. And I made some really, really great connections with people. I have very good friends that I know when I go back that this isn't the end of our relationship. Like we will always keep in touch, and I really became I became enamored with the idea that I could make such an impact on someone's life, and that's something that happens more in a place like this where you have a smaller population. And I think that it's easy to say, let's go to the US and make money, or let's go here and let's go to Western Europe, or try to go to other places to enjoy lifestyles there. But I really did appreciate being able to be here and feel like just even having a daily interaction with the lady at the market, it was nice to see that they cared that I came by, and they cared that we talked. And so I like that. I like the impact.
Yeah, you're like, just the high is important sometimes.
Yeah.
I can do somebody's whole day.
Yeah, and I know that I don't look like a lot of the people in this region, so I know that my look is more memorable, and so I try to to make each interaction a memorable one for both of us. So when I talk to somebody, including I try to practice my Macedonian when I'm going into a bakery or ordering coffee, and it's always an interesting conversation.
Yeah, have you like any problems with the language? You've been like to a shop, you started speaking English to them, or?
Well, I was learning 2 languages at once, and so that made things a little bit difficult. So if I'm in a region that is Albanian, primarily speaking Albanian, I try to speak mostly in Albanian, but there will be times when they'll ask me a question and I'll respond in Macedonian. And I did it. I went to Madrid for a week in the spring, and I was there, and every time, and I speak Spanish, but every time the server would ask me a question, I would respond in Macedonian and then remember that I needed to speak in Spanish. So it gets confusing sometimes, but it was fun. It was challenging. I liked doing that. I like trying to learn multiple languages at once.
You have learned a lot, like 2 at the same time.
Yeah, well, I can mostly talk to bus drivers, and I can talk to people ordering coffee or food, but anything more complicated than that gets a little bit gets harder to do.
I mean, yeah, just like we understand that you're.
And almost everybody's like, just speak English. We all know English.
Yeah, mostly people not speak English.
Actually, I was pretty impressed with the number of people that, and that's another difference between here and the U.S. The number of people that are multilingual in this country is very impressive to me. Most of the people that I've met speak at least 2, if not 3 or more languages.
Yes, we do. With time, I mean, you learn it as well, though. The more languages the merrier, and the more opportunities you're gonna get from the languages.
I think that's true, and I think it just opens up the world for you.
Yeah, just like because one language means one person. When one person knows 3 languages, they're 3 persons in one.
Yeah.
That's something I guess is all opportunity, and I think everybody of the younger generations, or even younger me and
Yeah.
everybody else, should start learning languages because they're not going to regret it.
I agree. I think if you can fit it into your schedule, learn as many languages as you can, because it's I actually had a lot of fun trying to learn Albanian and Macedonian.
Well, that's great that you learned those. What activities did you like do while you were here?
I did a lot of lectures at different universities talking about various political topics or various American legal systems topics. One of the things that I actually enjoyed doing the most, though, was we started a Dungeons and Dragons club here at the American Corner. So I ran it as the dungeon master, and we would have these at sessions where students could come in and get to play a character, and it was a lot of fun, because when you get a bunch of people together and everybody's kind of role playing a different character, and they're up against monsters like dragons, and you get to see there's a lot of humor involved, there's a lot of camaraderie, there's a lot of banter, sometimes an argument here and there over what the next best move is, but it's a lot of fun to see people trying to troubleshoot their way out of a situation.
I know we were like teaching when I came, for Dungeons and Dragons. You're a really good teacher, though. I love playing.
I try to, because I've been playing for a few years, and I've had good experiences and bad experiences with Dungeon Masters, and they can make or break a person's desire to play more. And I really wanted to be able to be open, like not so strict about the rules, because if you're new, nobody's gonna know all the rules in the first 20 sessions.
No,
so it's just about letting creativity, get your creativity juices flowing, and giving people a chance to play somebody else. So you try not to throttle that by saying, oh, you can't do that, or you can't do that. So you just I try to make it so that it's an easy game to learn, to get into. People can get comfortable and do it at their own pace, and then the rules, that stuff will come later. You'll learn it all. You'll learn how your character can do things, what different strengths and weaknesses are for different traits and stuff, and that all comes later. So it's just about giving everyone a chance to enjoy the play acting is basically what it is.
Yeah.
And some people are really, really good at the role playing. We've had a couple of students come in and they were very much into their characters, and there are others that are a little bit more reserved. I will be honest, I was a reserved player at the beginning. I'm not a great actress, so and I can't do accents, and so I would try to like get a little bit more outside of that to play a part better, but it took me a long time to get there. And then others are just really naturally good at it.
Oh yeah. How long have you been playing for? How many years?
I've been playing almost 10 years. I know people who've been playing like 20 plus years. So and there's still a lot I don't know about the rules, but I've been playing since 2016.
Oh yes, I've played like 2 times. One with you, I think, and one with one of my friends.
Yes, you were one of the first students that I taught here.
Yes, she was a good teacher, guys.
So it was a lot. It's a lot of fun to introduce the game to people.
I know, I love that. I still want to play though.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have a Friday the 13th session, so.
Yes, hopefully I'm here, so we can definitely play with it. So Jennifer, with what program are you here, and what are the differences with those programs?
I'm here with the Fulbright Program, and as a Fulbright researcher from the U.S. Our cohort had, I think, 7 people. So there's 1 researcher slot, and then the rest are ETAs, which are English teaching assistants. So we would be assigned to the ETAs are all assigned to a school that they will be working with the English department or the language department, and they will teach classes in English to give locals and students the ability to get instruction from someone who is a Native English speaker. So, and what I did was, I was assigned through 2 universities. I was assigned here at UCAM, and also at Southeast European University for research. So I had mentors at both universities, so they would provide assistance when I needed it, and if I had needed contact information or if I needed some guidance in who I would reach out to get interviews and do my research, they would help provide that. But I didn't have any structured classes. It was strictly open research. So I could do pretty much anything that I wanted to do as long as it was to promote my research or to further my research goals. My research here was to discuss my research was interviewing journalists and asking them about their views on democratization and also on state building. So a lot of my interviews were with journalists and investigative journalists from local and regional news outlets, media outlets. And then I would take the data and I would do an analysis of the data, of the information from the interviews. I would break it all down, which takes hours. It takes hours to read the transcripts of the interviews and then to kind of put things into a specific order. And I was able to, luckily, to turn some of my findings into academic articles. So I was able to publish 3 articles while I was here, which
Congrats.
is a really hard thing to do, but also very rewarding, because it's academic article writing can be very painful, especially when you're writing with research and using methodologies, and it's a lot of editing, it's a lot of analysis, and it's a lot of sweat and tears to do that. But that was a rewarding part of the whole process, was being able to see what I had been doing all year kind of played out on paper.
Okay, that's great. So Jennifer, would you recommend this experience to other people as well?
Oh yes, absolutely. I think everyone should immerse themselves in another culture as often as they can. Not just to go visiting, doing the tourism thing. That's not a bad thing either, and you can learn a lot on that. But being here, day to day. In September, if somebody had asked me, "What do you do? What kind of tourist sites are you going to go to? What would you do?" I wouldn't be able to answer that question because I didn't really understand the land. But I could now. I would suggest Bodno. I would suggest hiking. It's a great place to hike. There's mountains everywhere. I would, a lot of outdoor activities here I think are great. So I think being able to immerse yourself in another culture, you can't beat it.
Definitely. What are the 3 words you would use to describe the experience?
Enlightening, balanced, and rewarding.
Rewarding. Thank you, Jennifer.